And I'm always on the hunt for models, and I've got a lot to thank for that to a man named Gary Keller, who about 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago now, I had the extraordinary opportunity to be in a class that he held monthly called Empire Builders, and we were a part of his executive team. And what he did, he didn't change the curriculum. He taught us the same class every single month, and it was his framework for how he attempts to build the empire that is Keller Williams. And what he was doing, and a part of the course was he was sharing with us the model for doing that, and then why he always chases models. And he taught us how to read books. He taught us how to talk to people and pull their models out of them. He taught us a lot of extraordinary tricks like that that just blessed my life, and ultimately gave me the ability to capture models and share them in the book that you guys know I wrote, The Steady Leader. And so, the core premise is success leaves clues. Now, Gary Keller didn't say that, but he also quoted one of the gentlemen that made that more famous. That was Tony Robbins, right? And the idea would be is, why would we go out and create anything new when people have already put in a lot of hard work, proving ways to be successful in such a way that we should just take the model off the shelf and implement it? And I think I think it's important for us to acknowledge that. And I think it's also important, just per the title of this webinar, that we find people who not only motivate us, but also push us to think in ways that are more productive and in ways that we haven't ever spoken before. And so my goal in the next 10 to 20 minutes here would be to share some of the models that I've recognized and that I've adopted myself, and how I go about using them, just in this concept of, my inner circle. So the very first thing that I like to talk about is just understand that professionally, there's 4 types of people that you could connect with that can help you as a leader fully develop, right? That can share models with you, that if you were open to it and humble enough to accept those models, that could put you on the path to success much quicker than it would take for you to read that many books, or to go research, or to just execute on your business with enough time to learn those lessons the hard way. And that first group would be peers. Now, peers, the beautiful thing about peers is they need you just as much as you need them. They are in the day-to-day grind of running their business as well, or they're in the day-to-day grind of leading a team just like you. They're thinking big for their life just like you. They want it, but they're at the same place as you, and it makes them more vulnerable and need you just as much as you need them. So when you ask for their time, it's easier to get that and win it. Now, the downside to a peer is, and by the way, a peer is free, right? You don't have to pay for a peer. The downside to peers are they haven't necessarily proven themselves successful just yet. And there are lessons that you need to learn that they haven't learned yet. And, you could find yourself very quickly as the top peer in your group as far as experience and production goes. And so they are helpful to motivate you and push you. Many of them are helpful in just sharing tactics that they've learned so that you can use that in your own business, models in your own business. But some of them, you're going to do most of the helping. And that's okay too, because when you're teaching someone what you know, you're reinforcing for yourself on the inside what you know, so that it's easier for you to recall it in the moment when you need that knowledge quickly. All right, so that's peers. The second group would be mentors. Now, mentors are also a free resource. You don't pay for mentors. However, you can't wear a mentor out. You can't just use them so much as a free resource that you kind of ruin it for them, and they don't want to meet with you anymore, because now it's just turning into work for them, or it's taken so much of their time that they have to say no to you because they need to refocus back on their priorities. A mentor is someone that has more experience than you. They're probably living a life that you desire to have, at least in some part of your life. they're open to helping you because you have a relationship, and they're a good enough person that they're willing to pour into you for free. But they're an opportunity, and certainly mentors can teach you. And I believe that it's probably the best case scenario is a mentor, because you don't pay for it. And every time you sit down with that person, they share with you how they got to where they are today, and their life is something that you want for your own. Again, don't wear your mentor out. Don't meet with them so often that when they see your name, they don't answer the phone, because you're just another time suck for them. Try your best to bring value to the meetings to them. Certainly express gratitude and affirm the relationship that you have, and space out the times that you reach out to talk to them. Make sure you don't abuse that right. All right. The third category is coaches. Now, I love coaches. I've been coached my whole life. At first, as an athlete, playing baseball and football my whole life, and then in business, I pay for a coach, and I've paid for a coach the last 10 years. I mean, I believe in coaching. And I like the arrangement that you have with a coach when you pay that person. They have to show up on your scheduled time. They have to bring value, right? Like you're giving them money, and they're giving you value in return. And to some extent, there's accountability there. If they don't produce for you, then you can choose to go somewhere else because you're paying for the service. Now, coaching largely is accountability. Okay. Now, you want to hire a coach smartly, meaning you want to hire a coach that's proficient in what you need them to help you with. But just understand, a coach is going to ask great questions to pull out answers from you, and they're going to hold you accountable. That is what coaches are paid to do, is to help you discover what you already know on the inside and pull that to the front. Make sure that you're working on the priority, and make sure that you're held accountable for not having too many bad days in a row. And so coaches make us extremely productive. Coaches expand our thinking. Coaches help us get clear on things. And coaches show up because you pay them to do it. So I believe in coaching. I'll probably have a coach the rest of my life. That's how I feel about it. Consultants. Consultants are a lot like coaches in that you pay for the service. So they have to deliver value or else the agreement isn't satisfied. Consultants are people that you hire to solve a specific problem for you. So if your sales team isn't producing at the level that you think it should, and you've tried what you know to try, and you just need some additional expertise, you might hire a consultant to come in and help you with whatever sales tactic that you're struggling with, or to help you train your sales team, or whatever it might be. But a consultant you hire to tackle a specific problem, and you pay them to solve that problem for you. And so the consultant agreement is done when that problem is solved, and then you would need a new agreement if you wanted them to work on something different. And so it's transactional, but it's still a great person who's bringing a great model that they're going to share with your company that's going to help you grow, or certainly help you solve a problem that you're experiencing right now, and you're just stumped on how to do it. And so those are the four main categories, right? You have your peers, you have your mentors. Those two groups are free. Then you have your paid resources, your coaches, who largely hold you accountable. And then you have your consultants who help you solve specific problems. Those four groups make up professionally the network of people that are going to push you every day to be bigger. Now, I don't think that's the only people that are going to push you. Certainly, I know as a leader that when you have A players working for you, because they want a bigger life, they're going to push you too. But just understand, that's not their job. Their job is not to show up and to lead you the leader. Now, they can hold you accountable if you're a person like me who knows that when you have an A player, you got to deliver results. But they're not going to teach you a new model. They may bring a new model because they're great people and smart, intelligent, and good at their job. But that's not their job to lead you. It's your job to lead them, but they can show up in that way. The only other thing that I'll say about these types of people is mentors can be people through books, through podcasts, through different types of avenues like that, and they don't even know it. So you can have a mentor that they don't even know that they're mentoring you. A great example of that is, going to church on Sunday and listening to your pastor. Your pastor, in so many ways, is a mentor for you spiritually, and they know their congregation. And if you ask any pastor, do you really want to desire to have a relationship with every single member of your church? The answer to that is going to be yes. But the reality is there's not a relationship with every single person individually, especially if you're not an outgoing person and go out of your way to connect with that individual. But they will be your mentor. And so, look, I love books. I love podcasts. I love webinars like this one right here. I believe that those provide great value. And that's another way to go seek and strive that. Okay, so now we know the roles that we're looking for and who they are. This next part would be, well, how do we get value out of them? And I think the conversation goes back to models, okay? When we have conversations with our peers, when we have conversations with mentors, coaches, and consultants, really what we're trying to pull out of them is the model that's made them successful. And if we can pull out the model, then not only can we easily comprehend it, but we can easily apply it and teach it to our team. And so what we're really after is the model. And just think of it this way. These people spent a lot of time, money, and heartache coming up with this model. And it's like, everybody gets to see you and think, oh man, well, that was an overnight success. But then they find out that you ran the business out of your garage for 15 years before you blew up into this massive company. It took a long time, and it took a lot of failures and money and time spent thinking about it to get the model dialed in. And then you get to step into what they've learned the hard way and take it for yourself. And so that is what you're after. You're after the models. And the trick is to not let your excitement for innovation to be the first thing that you do. And I know that's really hard because a lot of the glitz and glam of business ownership and a lot of the glamour in leading a team, the world will tell you when you come in and you do something new with them, and that innovation is going to blow it up in a success that few will ever see or experience. And, to some extent that's true, but I think it's foolish to start with an innovation and not with a model that works. Really what you want to do is start with a model that's proven, and then take the uniques that you have as an individual or the uniques your team has and stack that innovation on top of that model. It's much more of a stable way to launch innovation. It's a much more of a stable way to operate as a team and to grow. And it's going to create a better way for you to quickly learn things and maneuver on them. And I just want to give you a quick visual of what that looks like to me. If we just use the board here, let me dial this thing back in. All right. So if we use the board here, this is what it ought to look like. All right. Where the foundation of what you are working on is models. And then innovation would be on top of that. When you build it on models, your foundation is sturdy, and then you can go as high as you can think as a company. The inverse of that looks like this, where innovations is what was focused on first, and then you went to models, and you got this inverse triangle here that it's just not stable. It's not stable to build your whole team on an innovation first and then models on top of that. You want to start with models to set the foundation of proven success first, and then move into innovation after that. And so I just thought like a visual really helps to drive that home. And I would just encourage you in your conversations with folks to get to the model. What is it just step by step that they're doing that's bringing them the success? And when you find that, then you'll know you have something that's scalable, that's repeatable, and most importantly, transferable. As a leader, we want to be able to teach our team how to think so that they can operate when we're around and when we're not around, that they can go and get things done without us. And when you can transfer a model easily to them, that's what they can do. They can go off and run without it. And so it is important that when we meet with these different types of people, that we are hunting the model. It is important when we're reading these books that we're hunting for the model, because that is actually what we're going to take and run with. And so I would encourage you to always be thinking in that way. When you go to the store, think to yourself, like, what's the model for lead generation? How did they get all these people in the store? And then just write it down. And then you take that back to your team and say, okay, well, this is the grocery market's lead gen model. Can we use any of this in our business? Well, let's start with this. We know the grocery store is thriving. All right, well, now with our uniques and our service, what would we innovate on top of this? And that's kind of how you would do it. All right, moving on. Okay, we've got the reason why we want to do this. We've got the types of people that we're looking for, at least professionally, in our circle. And then we know what we're looking for from them. Now I'm going to encourage you to think through the personalities that you spend your time with, okay, and the way that they speak. Someone can know success, but the way that they speak to you, it tears you down. It belittles you, or it makes you think that either you're not capable or not worthy to produce that amount of success. And you do not want to hang around people like that. You want people that are going to expand your thinking, that are going to make you feel everything is possible, and that you are capable, and that growth isn't something that might happen. Growth is something that's going to happen. And to the extent that you can stack great decisions in a row, that's how fast it's going to happen. And so you need to take stock with who you're hanging out with the most right now. And I would look at even family. The family that you're hanging out with, or your friends on your street, or your friends at work, or the peers that you're networking with to try to learn. Like, who are these people that you're spending your time with, and how do they speak? Are they speaking with a growth mindset, with hunger, or are they coming up with excuses and saying, cutting you down before you even get started? And I just know who you have around you, and then focus on it. And I'll just say, like, I'm gonna do one more thing on the board here, because I think it's important. The way that you think actually drives some of the opportunity that you can provide people. And so let me just show this real fast. All right, in your business, you're going to have this A player, okay? Now, the A player has a big world for themselves, all right? They believe that their life is going to be big. And not only is their life big today, but this A player is going to look to expand their life every single day. That's how you know you have an A player. It's because they're hungry, all right? Now, what you need to understand is, I want this person on my team. But the only way that I get to have this person on my team is to think of a world that's big enough to not only hold them, but to hold every single A player on my team in it, their worlds, and then, oh, by the way, expand your world fast enough so that these people can grow their worlds within yours. You see that? And so it's so important that you're thinking big, that your life is huge, that you know you can be one of the fittest people that you know you can grow your business as fast as other people, that you can build wealth. I mean, you have to grow your life in all areas as fast as possible, and as big as possible, so that these A players, when they come to you, they can see their life not only fitting within yours, but they can also see their life growing to be more like yours. And when you live a life that other people can see that they can have and learn from you to grow their life to have what they want, they will follow you. There will be influence there, and that influence will allow you to lead them and bring them along with you, and then be excited the whole time to listen to every word that you have. And so you have to surround yourself with people that think that way, because you can't let your mindset be jeopardized by people that think small. So we've got the people, we know the roles that we're looking for, the people that are going to be in our inner circle and how we could use them. We understand that we're hunting for models from these people. And we also know that we have to pay attention to the way that they speak, because their mindsets will bleed into ours. And we're an average of the people we spend most of our time with. And so we want to surround ourselves with big thinking people. And so the last step would be is, okay, well, I've got a vision for where I want to go with my life. I can see in the end, when it's done right, I know where I'm going to be. I know what I look like physically. I know what I look like spiritually. I know professionally, wealth, family, all the things, right? We have visions for ourselves, and we understand what our life looks like when it's done well. We understand where we are today. There's a gap. And so I would ask you to close the gap from where we are today to be who you want to be in the future. Who are those people that you need to have? Okay? Who are the peers? Who are the mentors? Who are the coaches, and who are the consultants that you have to go out and find in order to make your life what you want it to be? The second question that I would ask myself is, what models am I hunting for? Not only with the relationships that I have today, when I meet with people, if I'm meeting with this person because I think that they're a great leader, well, what model am I trying to pull from them in my conversation with them that will help me be a better leader? What is that? When I read this book, what is the model that I'm hunting for, the problem I'm trying to solve by reading this book? What are the models I'm after? And then the last thing is, I need to take stock of the people that I'm spending most of my time with. And I need to understand who they are, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. And I need to ask myself the serious question, do I need to continue to hang around this person? Do I need to continue to work for this person? Do I need to continue to give my resource of time and mind share to this individual? Are they making me better? If they're not making you better, then who can you replace them with to bring more value to you, so that you can go create this business and this life that you're after and be the leader that you want to be? And so I think that those are the questions to ask yourself. And what can you do immediately? What is the number one priority? What can you do immediately to kind of address some of those answers? What are the books that you can read? What are the podcasts that you can listen to? What network can you go be a part of? Such that as soon as you join that network, you're surrounded by the people that you know will take you to the next level. When you start living your life by models that make you more productive, that you can teach and scale and repeat, when you surround yourself with great people with growth mindset who are steady, you are going to be able to be more of a steady leader. So my friends, I'm grateful that you've come to this training, and I'm grateful that you spent time listening to this video for some of you. And I believe that we all can turn into a steady leader, but it starts with being aware, and it starts by making progress. So God bless you. I'm grateful. We'll see you next time.